everybody, we're going to be working on Slope-Intercept Form. That's what we're going to be working on all day. So everybody, at this point in your life, you should know what Slope-Intercept Form is. Right, so, well, at least somebody here. When I say Slope-Intercept Form, you're like, ooh, I know what it is. Who here knows what it is? Raise your hand. Slope-Intercept Form. I'll give you it. It says y equals, you got it, mx plus b. All last week we dealt with one concept, basically. All last week we just dealt with slope. Oh my gosh. And what does the slope of a line represent? It's rise over its run. So, no, other way. Change in y over the change in x. When I say the slope of the line, that is referring to the value that's in front of the x. And once again, I'm going to do delta y over delta x. And if you wanted to find the rise over the run and you had 2 points, that's where you would do this formula. You did this over and over and over again. Alright? The change in y over the change in x formula. That's just for what? Just for the slope. What have we added to this? Now that we're not talking about, so we have a slope, and what do we call this slope? Intercept form. So what is this value right here? No. The b value represents what's called the y-intercept. So you guys can write that down in your journal. Okay? The y-intercept will always be 0, comma, whatever that b value is. That's a b, it's not a 6. It's a b representing the y-intercept. Alright, what we're going to do on the first few problems right now, okay? Now that we know that the m value represents the slope, and the b value represents the y-intercept, we're going to go over here, and we're just going to do problem number 1. Alright, here we go. Once again, I'm going to write it y equals mx plus b. And once again, I'm going to highlight the m value in green and the b value in blue. What does the m value represent? Okay, so that equals the slope. And the b value, what does that represent? The y-intercept. It's where the line crosses the y-axis. That's what the y-intercept means, where it touches the y-axis. Okay? So right now, we look at problem number 1. It says, write an equation of the line with the given what? With the given slope and the given y-intercept. So all we have to do is just write the equation. Now, these first 3 problems, I'm hoping that you guys will see as easy. You won't see them as hard. Okay? So if I tell you that you have a slope of 1/4 and you have a y-intercept that is at a 3, hopefully you guys would write y equals, and then you would put 1/4 times x, and then you say plus the number 3. And that would be your answer in slope-intercept form. Okay? Now let's go ahead and we're going to, by the way, I just want you guys to see what this means. So if you guys would, if you guys say y equals and type that in the graphic calculator so you guys know what I'm talking about. 1 divided by 4x plus 3. Now I'm going to hit zoom, I'm going to hit the number 4. Okay? So let's take a look at this so you guys know what I'm talking about. Does everybody see this point right there? Okay? That point is at a 0 and a 3. What did we say the b value was equal to? 3. Now, what did I say the slope was? The slope was equal to what?
3.
No.
Oh.
What was the slope equal to? You remember what the slope was equal to? 1/4. So how do you interpret slope? Rise over run. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you guys visualize or see what the slope actually looks like. Okay? Be able to identify what the y-intercept is. So if I say the y-intercept, where does this blue line touch the y-axis? It touches it at 3. What's the slope of this line? It goes up 1 and over 4. Up 1 and over 4. So how do we write the equation of this line? Y y equals 1 over 4 times our x value plus the number 3. That's how you write it in slope-intercept form. What's the easiest form, in my opinion, to interpret? The easiest form to interpret is slope-intercept because it gives you the slope and it gives you the y-intercept every single time. So all I want you to do from here, this is the picture that goes with the problem. All I want you guys to do right now is just write number 2, number 3, number 4. In what form? Yeah, y equals mx plus b, which is slope-intercept form. Write it down. Go ahead. Try it. I'm going to pause this video right now while you guys do it. Come up with 3 answers that you think are correct. We're going to check it in a few short seconds. All right, so we know the first problem. The first problem was what? Y equals, what was our slope? 1/4. And what was our y-intercept? 3. So here, what's our new slope? 3 over 2. So you should have written y equals 3 over 2 times x. And then what's our y-intercept? -4. So instead of putting plus a -4, I can just put -4. There's the slope, there's the y-intercept. Now, a lot of students that I see when they're just first learning this, they usually do this. They go plus a what? Plus a -4. That's not wrong. You just don't have to do that. Okay? If you put plus a negative, it's still going to mean -4. What's the slope on this one? That's it, 1.5x minus 1. Now, if I wrote this as an improper fraction, that would be 3 over 2. So you go up 3 units and over 2 units, okay? Yeah. So if a student would have, if they knew their decimals to fractions, if they knew that, and they would have written y equals 3 over 2x minus 1, I want you to understand that these mean the same, okay? They're the same line. That's in decimal form, that's in fraction form. What do I prefer when I'm trying to graph it? I prefer fractions, because that tells me how much I go up and how much I go over. Over here, I'm going to write it in decimal form. Okay. Now I'm going to write it as a fraction. Okay. This would be -5 over 2x plus 7 over 2. Okay? So your y-intercept at 3.5, that's the fraction for 3.5. This slope is -2.5, which is the same as -5, which means I would go down 5 units and over 2 to the right. So this right here, this would be an acceptable answer, and this would be an acceptable. Why do I want to show you both of them? Because some answers you might see as a decimal, and some answers you might see as a fraction. So you want to be able to know. Now, what if you didn't know it? Well, how am I supposed to know that -2.5 is -5 over 2? Hit the math button, press enter twice. What if you didn't know that 3.5 was 7 over 2? Hit the math button on your calculator. What are we going to do? Change it to a fraction. You guys see how you can do that? If you want to, you can change them. Yes. Maybe second. I don't know. Basically, I just know that hit the math. That's the fastest way. All right. So that in the calculator, that's what you can do. All right. If I said alpha y equals, that allows you to change it from fraction to decimal. So that's another way to do it. Fraction to decimal. Okay. All right. So let's go back over here. Now we're going to zoom in. What I'd like us to do right now is we're going to zoom in. Problem number 5. Okay. So number 5, we have a line. And this line has a slope, and this line has a y-intercept. So I want you guys to write y equals mx plus b. I want you to write m equals. I want you to write the word rise over run. Remember, that means the change in the y over the change in the x. Then b, I want you to label that as your y-intercept. The more you write it down, the more you'll remember what these words mean. You're writing it. You're not just seeing it, you're not saying it, you're writing it. Now, whenever I'm interpreting a line, I always start with the easiest thing I can locate. The easiest thing that I can locate is something called the Y-intercept. The Y-intercept is where the line hits the Y-axis, right there. So where is my B value going to be? My B value is going to be at the number 2. So the Y-intercept is a 2. Okay? Remember I said it was going to be 0, comma B? Well, our B value is a 2. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the slope. So the slope is the what? Rise over the run. So if I go from left to right, what's happening? I'm going up, right? So where are the points that I'm going to interpret slope? Right here is one of the points. So I'm going to start right there at negative 5, 0. And then the point I'm going to end at is what? This point right here. So I'm going to go up a certain amount, and I'm going to go over a certain amount. And this is what I want you guys to shade in on your paper. Just shade it in with me now. Color. You're allowed to color. I know we're not in kindergarten, but you're still allowed to color. Try to stay inside the lines. You can do better. There you go. What I want you guys to label is I would like you guys to label this as your rise. And I want you to label this as your run. This is my change in Y. This is my change in X. How much do I go up, everybody? How high do I go up? 2. 2 units. Okay? That's my rise. So 2. How much do I run over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I run over 5 units. So what is my final answer in slope-intercept form? I would write Y equals, and what was my slope? 2 over 5, 2/5 of X, plus, what was my Y-intercept in this particular case? 2. This is your answer. Y equals, what's my slope? 2/5. It goes up 2 over 5 times X plus 2. All right? You guys see these ordered pairs? A 0 and a 2 and a negative 5 and a 0. So right now, take a look at this. You see that ordered pair, and you see that ordered pair. Those right there. Here's what you could do to check to see if you did it correctly. Go to your calculator, hit Y equals. Right, hit Y equals. Let's type it in. 2 divided by 5 X plus 2. 2 divided by 5x plus 2. Check your table. Whoa. I'm at 800. I need to hit second window. I need to start at 0. Oh, interesting. What were the 2 ordered pairs that I started with? I started with what? 0 and a 2 and a negative 5 and a 0. If these ordered pairs are in your table, what does that tell you about your answer? That's correct. Okay. So if the ordered pairs are in your table, and what's this the table for? Y equals 2/5 X plus 2. Check your table, and it should be there. If they're not there, you typed in something wrong, or you did the wrong equation. Okay. All right, here we go. If you're watching the video, pause it. See if you can come up with the answer. Y equals mx plus b. All right, we're going to check it in about 30 seconds. All right, so we're going to write this line as a linear equation of slope-intercept form. Okay. Once again, I'm in green. I'm going to write my slope. Right here, what's the first thing I'm always going to identify? The Y-intercept. So what should you guys put as the Y-intercept? What's my B value? 3. So label that right there. That's your B value right there. When X is 0, your Y-intercept is always when your X is a 0. That's your Y-intercept. Every single time. Now, I have 2 points. I have 1 at where? Negative 2, 0. Then I have 1 at 0 and a 3. What I'm going to, from right here, what am I going to do? I'm going to go up a certain amount. I'm going to go over a certain amount. And this right here is going to represent my rise to my run. All right. this right here, this is my change in y. This is my change in x. How much does it go up? 3. So it goes up 3. How much does it go over? So my rise, my change in y was equal to 3. My change in x was equal to 2. So therefore my final answer is y equals, what's my slope? 3 over 2.
X plus 3.
You got it.
3 halves. Good job, Carly.
Good job, Carly. High five. All right. Now, 3 halves is correct. Okay? 3 halves. Oh, you can do better now. That's your slope. That's your y-intercept. By the way, if I died today, this is the last video you ever saw. Tomorrow, would that still be the slope?
Yes.
Yes. Would that still be the y-intercept?
Yes.
Okay, because math's not going to change.
Unlike English.
Yeah, look here. We won't go there. So. All right. Uh-oh. What do you guys notice really quickly about this slope versus the other?
Going down.
It's going down. It's going down from left to right. How do we always interpret slope? From left to right. So it's going down. So here we go. First thing I'm going to identify. First of all, I'm going to write down y equals mx plus b. I'm going to write m equals something and b equals something. My slope this time I know is going to be what? It's going to be negative something over something. And my b value I always start out with. So what is my b value this time?
Negative 2.
No. Don't worry about it.
Negative 2.
Yeah, just negative 2. You're just thinking too far ahead. Don't worry. I will give you a chance to redeem yourself in just a second. Just listen to the question. So, now, watch how I do this. From here, from right here, which is perfectly at a point, known as what? Negative 3, 0. I'm going to go down a certain amount and over a certain amount. And Tristan is going to help us out here as I shade this in, because I already saw you have it shaded in on your paper. Notice how I shaded this stair, all right, this triangle. Okay? So this is my change in y. This right here is my change in x. So Tristan, help me out. How much do I go down? So I go down 2, so that's the negative part. And how much do I run over this direction? 3. So that's why it's down 2 over 3. This is the whole down 2 and over 3. Down is negative. To the right is positive. Okay? So I always go down and over. Now, if I have to, I could go up, but I have to go over to the left, which is up is positive, but to the left is negative. Okay? So let's write this. Let's write our answer in slope-intercept form. Y equals, what's our slope this time? Negative 2/3, right? Times x. And what are we going to take away at the end? Plus a negative 2, or just minus 2. Okay. That's your answer. Alright, so now we need to get this line right here. Ooh, this one we're going to do, it says graph each equation. We're going to graph it. I like number 8. Why do I like number 8? Because it's easy. It's already in what form? That's right. It's already there. All we have to do is interpret the slope and interpret the y-intercept. So what would you guys say, if you looked at this equation, what would you guys say the y-intercept is equal to? 2. Highlight it. B equals 2. Okay. And what would you guys say if I said, hey, what's the slope of this line? What would you guys say?
Negative 1 over 2.
Yeah, negative 1 over 2. You don't have to say x. Just say the slope is negative 1 over 2. And what is a negative 1? What does a negative 1 over 2 slope tell us to do? It tells us to go down 1 unit and over 2 units. So when I plot this, where am I going to start? Anywhere on the page? Where do I always start? If I have a chance to, where do I like to start? At the y-intercept, which is right here at a 2. It's on the y-axis right there. Now, from there, from that point, what am I going to do? Give me instructions, Jordan. Give me from here. What am I going to do? And then I'm going to put a Now be more specific. Down 1 and over 2 to the right. Down 1 over 2 to the right. That's right. Now from here I could go up 1, but I have to go over 2 to the left. Here's your answer. Now, you don't have to do it all the way down. Okay, I'm going to because I want you guys to see that this is the constant rate of change. In word problems, sometimes they'll say, what's the rate of change? When it asks you for the rate of change, what's it asking you to find? The slope. Okay? If it asks you for the rate of change in a linear function, it's asking you about the slope. Either your slope is doing what? It's going down from left to right, it's going up from left to right, it's going 0, it's not going up or down, or it's undefined where you have that vertical line. We talked about that last week. Uh-oh. I'm going to leave, so for those of you who are trying to get caught up, I'm going to move over here to the right. Okay. Is this number 9? Is that in slope-intercept form? No, it's not. Because slope-intercept form is just what? It's y equals. What does that say?
3y.
It doesn't say y equals. It says 3. Now, what does 3y actually mean? 3 and a y stuck together. 3 what? 3 times y. What's the reverse operation of multiplication? Division. So this, everybody, so this is where you would need to divide, and divide by the number that's in front of the y. So here's my new equation. These 3's cancel each other out to a 1. So Abigail, what am I left with? Y equals, good. Does 3 go into 2? No, so you just leave it at what? 2/3 times x. Can you divide 6 by 3? How many times? 2 times, so that says a negative, so we're going to put a what? All right. Now, is this in slope-intercept form? Very good. Here's what I want you to do. I want you, on your paper, to interpret the slope and the y-intercept, and I want you to graph it right now. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and interpret this. This right here, what does the 2/3 represent in the problem? That represents something. What does 2/3 represent? It represents the slope. Okay, what does this -2 represent? The y-intercept. Okay, so here we go. So what, everybody, what is my y-intercept that I'm going to plot first? What's my y-intercept? -2, so right here. Right here, put a point. Okay? And what's the slope of this line? 2/3. So from this point, I have to go up 2 units and over 3. Up 2 over 3. Well, I ran out of room, so I got to go down 2 and over 3 to the left. There's your slope. There's your slope, right there. Hopefully, you guys are realize how easy this is. Like, okay, I can do this. This is not, it's not as hard as mathematics is going to be. All I have to do is go up 2 and over 3. You guys see the stairs that I'm building? This is called this constant rate of change. If I continue this line, what would I keep doing? Up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. That's your slope. All right, last one. I want you guys to put into your journal. This one right here, number 10. Put number 10 in your journal. I want you guys to understand we have about 3 minutes to get this done. Label this AX plus BY equals C. This is not in slope-intercept form. This is called standard form. We have to change standard form to Y equals MX plus B, which is slope-intercept form. So we're going to change this equation from standard form to slope-intercept form. This is the last problem we're going to do today. All right. 6x plus 3y equals 6. We are in standard form. You could, you know what, we are eventually going to divide by a number, but we're not going to start by dividing by 6. Very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate. I got to get all of these x's, right? All of these x's away, and I got to get all the y's by themselves. All right? So how do I get rid of a positive 6x? I'm going to take away 6x from this side. And I have to take away 6x from this side. So here's what we have left. We have a 3y equals a 6 minus a 6x. Now you can't combine those. Those are not alike. They're not like terms. So you can't just say, oh, that's going to be 0. These are not like terms. Now watch what I do right here. This is going to be important. I'm trying to get everything set up nice and neat. I'm going to take this negative 6x. I'm going to move it up in the front. I'm going to take this positive 6. I'm going to move it in the back. So here's what you have left. 3y equals negative 6 times x plus a 6. All I've done is just move the 6x across. That's it. Now, what do I need to do for my very, 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 very final step? Now I need to divide and divide and divide everything by the number 3. Why the 3? This 3 divided by 3 cancels to a 1. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. And 6 divided by 3 is a positive 2. This is your answer in slope-intercept form. Your slope is negative 2 over 1. Your y-intercept's at a 2. So before you guys start putting away, we need to graph this. So just graph it with me on your paper, then you can transfer it to your journal. We're going to graph this, and we're going to graph this right here. So what's our y-intercept? 2. So right here, I'm going to go right up here to where I have it at a 2. And our slope is negative 2. So you have to go down 2 and over 1. Down 2, over 1. Down 2 and over 1. Connect that line, and then you guys can have a wonderful day. And yes, I'm going to shade it going down 2 and over 1. So you guys can see the stairs. Down 2 over 1. Have a wonderful day. Hopefully you know how to change the standard form to slope-intercept.